What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop. So park your ass right there. And while you're there, go ahead and hit that share, that subscribe, and that like button. What are you waiting for? Just do it already. You still waiting there? Hit the subscribe button. Anyway, so today I'm going to talk about something special. Everything's always special around here, ain't it? You know me, I'm a horror fan. And today, actually last night, me and my wife were watching a movie. Now, this is a movie from 2007, and I remember seeing the trailer with my sister in the movie theater, and this movie never came out, like ever. I mean, ever. Never came out. We were like, whatever happened to that movie with the tapes on it? We were like, I don't know. Never could figure out what the hell happened to this movie. A couple of years ago, I ran across I like Shout Factory on Facebook, so you get notifications here and there, and I noticed that they were selling the Blu-ray of this film. It's called the Poughkeepsie tapes, right? Named after the city on the East Coast. I'm like, ain't that movie with the tapes that we were seeing and it never came into movie theaters? So I think it's on Amazon Prime as well too. But me, I had to find another way to watch it, if you know what I mean. Black market. So I watched this movie with my wife yesterday, and let me tell you this. I am not a fan of found footage movies, but this damn found footage mockumentary movie was really, really good. All right. So this movie basically follows it's a mockumentary. So it's like they're talking about the serial killer, and they're talking about how they came across these tapes of all of these murders and atrocities that he's committed, and is analyzing this killer and talking about how he basically started and then what he ended up at the end, from the first tape to the last tape. Now, of course, they're not going to go over all tapes, but they just highlight key factors in his killing career, as I'm going to call it. Now, this dude is a pretty sick individual. And let me tell you, in all honesty, if I have to say, like, a horror movie character needs to get their own little standalone film that's not like a documentary or something, I think it should be this. Like, this character right here should honestly get his own movie because he's human. He's honestly really just a serial killer. He has no special powers or anything like that. He's just freaking crazy. And he's ridiculously smart the way that he calculates the acts that he's about to carry out. I don't want to go into too much detail because, like I said, this is a spoiler-free review. I might do some spoiler highlights at the end. I'll let you know ahead of time. So let's talk about the good. Now, for a found footage mockumentary film, this is very interesting. I like the aspect. It honestly feels like you're watching an episode of like To Catch a Killer or It Takes a Killer or things like that when they're analyzing serial killers. That's what it feels like. And it comes off as very, very believable. At one point in time, I think at the end of the movie, me and my wife looked at each other and was like, damn, was that real? Like, was this a real person? Was this a real killer? Because his name, his alias, and all those things, and all the things that you watched, and the whole way they set up the film looked very believable. Like, it made you really think, like, you know what? Did this dude really do this? Is this a real person? So, we had to hit up that Google real quick. Also, the killer in this film, he's very interesting. I honestly, like I said, he should have his own standalone film. The way that he does these things and acts out, and it should be a film about a cop chasing him down and trying to track him down or something. But in all honesty, man, like, this killer is very, very interesting. And I would like to see a standalone film with him. So the original team could get behind him and dive into the psyche of this character and show us what he's about. Then, hey, I'm with it. Because I thought the killer in this movie was excellent. I think, what was it called? The Greenwater Killer or something like that. But this movie, at sometimes, could be very gory. It could be very graphic and it could be very sick. But that's who serial killers are. And honestly, even takes you through the perspective of a serial killer. Like, he's documenting his kills. He's documenting his experience. You're following him along as he commits these atrocities. It's a very, very interesting take on a film. Like, to me, it was done very well, and it was very interesting. Like, I honestly don't understand why this film never surfaced. It's honestly, to me, it has that cult classic status. in my opinion. Now, another good thing about this film is how they kind of keep it realistic, and how the torture of different characters in this movie, how it can bend the psyche of the victim. It changes them, and this is when you learn throughout this film about how sick this person was, and how sick he was, and how it had an effect on other people. Now, another good thing, this doesn't happen too often, but if you can find a good horror film that will freak you out watching it at night by yourself, you found you a good one. And this is one of them films. Like, it honestly makes you kind of like cautious, kind of like peeking through corners and looking around, and kind of, kind of fearful, because you know that these people actually exist. There's actually people out there like that. You know what I mean? So to me, that made it that much more interesting. This mockumentary film, the Poughkeepsie tapes, super interesting. Now let's talk about the bad. I know it's not really much bad that I can honestly find in this film, but if I had to kind of say something, I know why they did it, and it's to stay true to the heart of this found footage thing. But like sometimes like the little bad quality video from a DA, because it's him filming his experiences. So we're watching some of the tapes that he filmed, and sometimes it come off as very dark. It could be very spurts of blurriness, and it could kind of come off as distorted. And that could get kind of frustrating with somebody that's trying to enjoy the film, because you're trying to see, hey, what did he just do? But that plays a role in also building the suspense. So it didn't bother me that much, but at the beginning when it was kind of dark, I couldn't really see the things that they were doing. But then I remember, like, this is supposed to be a true to heart documentary and found footage, so therefore it has to have that feel, and it did give you that feel. So that might be one of the bad things, but I can't honestly say that it was a horrible thing. The atrociousness. Honestly, there isn't really one for me. I mean, others might. You might think differently if you don't like found footage, mockumentary style films. If you're not into like stuff like the Blair Witch or anything like that, then you're probably not going to feel this movie. Like, you're not really going to like it. But me personally, I enjoyed it a lot. I liked it, and I'm not even a fan of found footage films at all. Like, I can deal with them, but it's not like something that I'm really like keen on. Like, I'm not a huge fan of like Paranormal Activity. I've seen like one of the films and it just didn't do anything for me. I might need to go back and actually watch the first one. But just found footage film and webcam footage and stuff like that, like, unless it's done in a particular manner, like, it doesn't really catch my interest. But this film does that. It catches my interest. It does a very good job at keeping you engaged and having you dive into the mind and the psyche of this killer. So if I had to give this Poughkeepsie tapes a grade, I would give it a 4 out of 5. This film is amazing to me. It does a great job at doing what it's supposed to be. It does such a good job at trying to show you what at mimicking what it is. You honestly start to believe that it is what it is. You really think you're watching a documentary. You really think that you're watching found footage and things like that. You forget that you're watching a film, and that's the great aspect of this film. So if you got Amazon Prime, I believe it's on Amazon Prime. If not, find a way to watch this film. Me personally, I might be buying this film on Blu-ray from Shout Factory very soon. I think you guys should check it out. I think it's a great film, and that's all I got to say about that. So you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. I am Davey from the 80s, and before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share this video, because we're trying to grow a community here. You feel me? So, adios.